All right, on the bench today is a transmission that I haven't seen in probably 20 plus years. Okay, it's out of a 1993 Mazda B2600. It's a Nissan transmission called an L4N71B, rear-wheel drive, 4-speed. So what's going on with this is it runs away in third, so when it shifts to third, it just seems like the car's in neutral and just runs away, the engine revs way up, also slipping in reverse. All right, so probably more than likely we're gonna find the direct clutch no good, because the direct clutch is on in third, also on in reverse. All right, 171,000 miles on it, and again, it's been a long time. I actually started looking, and within a few minutes I actually found my ATSG Tech-Tran manual. It's a little old because it's probably 25 years old. And we're going to tear this down and see what we find. So we got a bunch of switches here on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, vacuum modulator, 5, and we have the neutral switch, so we'll kind of go through all this. I don't know if you can see this, give you a close-up shot of this, but even equipped with a mini wasp's nest right here. And this is actually in a running car. I don't know if the car was off the road or what the case may be, but the car actually is in really nice shape. And the guy wants to fix it, but I don't blame him. I mean, the car's really nice for a 1993. So, let me get a little closer, and we're gonna take these things off of the outside, take the linkage off, the neutral switch off. We'll identify these. This one I had trouble breaking loose, so I'll do this later. And I guess that's about it. So, again, I ask on these older ones, you know, if you could just bear with me, because it's been 20 plus years since I've done one. But let me get a little closer, and we'll get started. Okay. So according to the research that I was looking at in the manual that I have, this solenoid here in the front, kind of in the bell housing, is your lockup solenoid. All right, this second one here is your overdrive cancel. This solenoid wasn't in it, but it's a 1-wire, so it's probably some form of a pressure switch or a temperature sensor. All right, your vacuum modulator and your kickdown solenoid. And then we have when we spin this around, we're gonna have the neutral switch. I'm gonna take the linkage off, take the neutral switch out. So we're gonna actually start. I did break these loose. This one I had a little trouble breaking loose, but you know what I wanna do first? There's a line here. I wanna get that line out of the way. Save everything here. All right, so now we got to get that pin out. Okay. So I'm going to move this line out of the way. I'm going to put this back in here. I got my banner kit. It took me a while to get the parts for this. Just want to save these washers just in case they're not in. I'll work on that later. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Took me probably almost a week to get the parts. You know, of course, the stuff's drying up and there's not much around. So let's take this off. Okay, we got an O-ring here. Right, so there is your OD cancel solenoid. All right, I'm going to take this out here. This again may be a temperature sensor, pressure switch, something like that. Being the fact that it just has one wire. Okay. Let's get that O-ring out. All right, here's your kick down. This is going to have a little piece on the end here to activate the valve. That's your kick down. That O-ring. Okay. Now the modulator, you got to break that loose. This should have a pin in it that you don't want to forget to put back. We'll put the modulator back. All right, so here's the modulator, which will be changed. Here is the pin that goes in between the modulator and the valve. Very important. Okay, let's get that O-ring out. Okay. Actually a washer and an O-ring. All that should be in the kit. Okay, so what we're going to do now is swing this around. Okay, here is the neutral switch. So I want to take the, I'm going to take the linkage off here, and then we'll get the switch out. Tens, holding that in. What happened to my 10? Here. All right, let's see how this will slide off. Moving. Okay. There is your neutral switch. Okay. There is your nice hornet's nest, pretty solid. Let me get my scraper. See if we can just chop that out. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, let me get this extension housing off. We're going to have a governor in here. So let's get the extension housing off, get the tail, see what that looks like. All right, that looks like a 12. Okay. Smells a little burnt. All right, so here is the car pull, the spring, the rod, and there's also a washer. Probably gonna put it on this side when we put it back together. Put everything back on that side. That was here. Okay. Definitely gonna probably have a burnt clutch pack. All right, so there's our governor. I'll just leave that on for now. Okay. So I'm going to take the O-ring off for the lockup. Is this shaft? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take the input shaft out. All right, now we're going to get all these 14 bolts out. These bolts are real long, so it's going to take all the way back from here, all the way back to the main case. That's what the bolts look like. Back together, I'll probably stand everything up, and then I'll put the governor on afterwards. Let's take that out. Here's our bell housing. Let me put this over here. All right, now let's see how easy a pump is going to come out. So we got a bearing here. I really don't remember the front section of this. Okay, shell. Sun gear. This is more than likely the OD planet. All right, another bearing. We have a ring gear. All right, all little washers and stuff. You got to be careful with all that. Okay, and then we have our drum. Let's see how easy that'll come out, but the band may be holding it. Alright, I got it. Okay. OD drum. No ring grooves here, so that's good. Band strut. Okay. This is like your intermediate shaft, but we got a washer here for the OD drum. And this whole section will probably come out now. So let's take this like intermediate shaft out. Okay. Open face bearing and the race here. And this whole thing will probably come right out. Reminds me of like a 4L30 almost. Alright, so here is the rear stator. Your rings. This thing's a little worn out. I don't even know if I can get these washers, but I'm going to try. There's some pieces of it here. Also, here is the piston for the band. Here's your accumulator. Alright, I don't think this is really going to come out so easy because I got to release the band. So, I'm going to drop the pan on this thing. Like maybe they changed the fluid. There's a bunch of silicone on this back here. This thing's sealed pretty good. There we go. Okay, bunch of silicone like I thought. Alright, so now we're going to take these bolts out, release. Well, we're going to have to take the valve body out first. Alright, so this valve body, we're going to take we got some 10mm bolts here. We're going to take those out. These hold the valve body together. So let's get all the 10s out, except for this one. This one stays. Off. Bunch of crap on the back of this valve body. So this thing is tiny. Okay. All right, now let's release the band and take the rest of the transmission apart. So for that, 1, 2. Here the adjustment. This adjustment is here, same as the other one, but it's on the outside, so it has a cover on it with a small gasket. Okay, there is that. Alright, this band is shot. Here is the band strut. Won't even come apart. So we know this clutch 100% is no good. Let me just see if I can separate these drums. Definitely gonna need steels. Alright, so here is your forward clutch. And this is reason for slipping in reverse and no third. There's absolutely nothing left. There's a clutch disc, or what's left of it. Absolutely nothing left of this. So it looks like they got the bottom steel clutch, and then we got two clutches back to back. Steel and a pressure plate. I don't know, it's gonna be easy to find. If I can get, you know, the problem's going to be the pressure plate's going to be the problem. But I can always make one if I had to. You know, if you can get the thickness of that, even if you get, you know, honestly, you know, 2 steels, 3 steels that come up to the same thickness, there's your pressure plate. But I gotta see if this piston is even any good. So there's our problem. Also the band. Drum's not too bad. The piston and stuff is okay. I can get steels. I can. It almost looks like again like a C4 drum, but I don't know if the steels are gonna work. But I'll have to try to find something. Okay, so we have forward drum, and now we have a bearing ring gear on it, and it rides on the ring gear here. Another bearing here. All right. Get the snap ring out. Little skinny snap ring. Reapply it. Need a bearing for that. Now I'm going to probably have a snap ring to get the output shaft out. Yeah, okay. Alright, so for that, I'm going to use these pliers here. Okay, there's that. This will slide out. Bearing, open bearing there. This will come out. Another bearing here. Sealing rings, governor, which is totally seems jammed. Figure with all the crap in that. All right, now I'm going to take, there's a low sprig and probably the low reverse clutches behind that. Okay, there's the low sprig. bolts back here to get the race out, piston. Okay. So here's the low reverse. Now let's get a socket. All right. There's an Allen key socket. Let's see. So the first one, I think it's a 5. Yes. All right. So let's do this. I don't know how easy or hard these things are going to loosen. Now let's see. Want to get it started, then I could just zip them out. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, just somebody drop it off a car to check for a leak. All right, so continue. I got 1 left, but let's get these bolts out of here. This is probably washers too. Yes. Okay. One. I'm going to look on my the website where I can see what they have as far as inventory goes, and see if they have any steals. And you know, I'm gonna pressure plate. I don't think I'll be able to get. So here is the return spring, here is the seat, and of course the inner race that bolts to it. Nice bolt. All right, now the piston. Use some air, see if we can get it out of there. Here's the piston. I will put new seals on here. Now this is completely stripped. Okay, so that's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. That'll go like that. And then you bolt it in through the back. All right, so I just got to pause it here for a few minutes because I have to go. And I'll be back in about an hour and a half, and then we can finish. Okay, so there is a dish spring on this direct clutch. So that would go on the bottom, like that. So we're gonna open up the pump, the center support there, we'll look at the forward clutches, you know, just kind of finish it up. We'll take the piston out of here for the overdrive band. So I'll do that when we get back, when I get back. All right, so I'm gonna just put you guys on hold, and I'll be back in a little bit. All right, back with you. All right, so let's take a look at the forward clutches, which I'm sure are gonna be fine. Heavy snap. Just pretty dirty, but we're okay. But I got a banner kit, and here is on the bottom. The dish is going to face down. That's forward clutch. Gotta clean this thing up real good. There's a bearing on the back here, which rides along with this piece. So that'll go. This will go here, and then this rides on that. So let's take those off, put those aside. Oh, one thing I wanted to show you, this is like the intermediate shaft. You got a hole here on this side and nothing on this side. This, I guess, is for lube. I put air in there, it comes out of these holes here. So this faces forward. This is gonna face forward. So we have to put this section on. You know, this will go in like that. And into the forward drum, because this actually will fit both ways. But when I took it apart, I distinctly remembering seeing this. So that will face forward. Okay. Now we got the overdrive clutch in that overdrive section. Two and another. Ooh, we got two of these here. Okay, so one, they face opposite each other. So that's how that's going to go. All right, let's take a look at this pump. Here's a bearing. Now we're going to take these 10 millimeters out. The gasket here, we'll have to probably maybe, well, let me see if there's valves or something. I'll have to just maybe scrape this off, or there's not too many valves in there. I honestly don't remember. I can put it in the tank, it'll get hot, and this gasket will peel right off. As I said, it's been a while. There's a pump. Okay. Yeah, there is a valve in here. Probably pull the valve out. Alright, and then we got our body and gears. Let's take a look here. This isn't too bad. A little scratched up. I'm gonna get hit with a little sandpaper and smooth that out. The crescent is good. But it's doable. It'll work. There's the pump. I'll probably do this thing in sections because you got dealing with a lot of bearings here, and I just don't want to forget where anything goes. All right, so first let's get the servo out for the front band. Let's see if we can pop this thing out. Well, strange thing, I'm not sure if I've ever seen this before, but there is no spring on here. I mean, how is this piston supposed to return? There's no spring. That's why it just didn't pop right out. Well, this is something I'm going to have to look into, because I've really never seen that. This here should just be the adjustment. This has a gasket, and here's the adjustment. Wow, no spring. I'm sure in the manual it's going to show one. Okay. So when I put these back on, I use my bands that I line the pumps up with. You know, I have these that I line up the pumps with that I'll use to line the pump up and line this up as well. And there's a gasket here, which of course is going to be changed. And you want to be careful. I want to try not to break this, because I don't know if more than one gasket comes in the kit. So, because I got to make sure I use the right one. Okay, so here is that sticker. And in here, which we want to be careful, we have a check ball right there. And it doesn't look like there's anything else, but there is a check ball. Take that out, and this is the pump O-ring, or the stator O-ring, probably the same as the pump. Okay, because this I want to put in the tank. I'm going to flat sand it out of the tank, and now we have an accumulator here. Okay, so let's get that snap ring out, see if we can blow that accumulator out. Okay. See if okay. All right, so looks like we have an applicable right here. So what we'll do, very carefully, seals, spring, one spring, and there's an accumulator. Alright, so now this is totally stripped down. Okay. now just the valve body. This has screen type filter. Alright, so I'm going to open this up. You got a couple of valves in here. I want to make sure all the valves are free. Pressure regulator, looks like it's here. That seems okay, but you know, we got a lot of crap in here. Alright, here is this. We'll come. This, let's get this. And now what we're going to do, I'm going to take this governor out. Got my tank heating up. This is all gonna come apart and get cleaned as well. And I'd like to see, sometimes you can't put these on wrong, sometimes you can. So let's see if we were to switch this. Yeah, the bolts don't line up. Yeah, they don't line up. All right, there's that. Might be a screen. See that good. Yeah, there is a screen. There's a screen in here to keep the crap out of the governor. So I'm going to see if I can get that screen out. Clean it, put it back in, or see if a new one comes in. Okay, so that's that. Alright, so I got the transmission for the most part cleaned up, and as I was going through the process of cleaning it and doing research, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to go over that I did not mention on the teardown. So again, it's been a long time since I did one of these, so you know, again, I apologize for that. So what made me, we're going to start with this intermediate housing. So I'm cleaning this up in the sink, in my, not in the wash tank, and thank God I didn't put it in the wash tank because I totally would have missed it, to be honest with you. Because everything is just so caked up with dirt, and I'm ready to recycle my solvent. So let me just clean everything up and then put it in the tank. So I'm cleaning this all up inside and out. I lift this out of the tank, and I find this cup plug in the tank. So, you know, I'm in here every day, so I kind of know what's in there, know what's not in there. So I knew it came out of here somewhere. So again, we pointed out the check ball that went here. And I was doing some research in the book and on the computer, and it didn't really say too much about it. I don't know if it's maybe because it's a 93 and they're talking about maybe some earlier models. But I'm just trying to see where the cup plug would fit. So, you know, and I'm just kind of looking at it, and all of a sudden I see I got a big hole right here and an orifice hole here where the servo goes. And again, this servo for the band has no spring, which I've never seen that either. So, you know, I'm looking at these holes, and it's not, you know, I'm just trying to fit it and just for the heck of it, see what it is, and nothing's really fitting. So then I go over here to this spot, and boom, it falls right in. So I checked with the air, it goes through here, and then I held my finger with the cup plug in and blew through the orifice, and the air comes out the same spot. So if I would have put this in a wash tank, there's no way I would have seen that. That would have fell out and created a big hole, and I probably wouldn't have had fourth gear or something. So thank God for that. So I'm going to take this back out, put that in a safe place. So that's this housing with that orifice cup. All right, now with the pump and belt housing, depending on what transmission you have, like just say you got a you got to change the pump in this, all right? And there actually are 3 different pumps. Now this one takes 2 O-rings here in the bell housing to seal these holes here. All right, so some of these pumps may have 1 hole and some of the pumps may have no holes. This is probably for lockup or something like that because the solenoid is right there. All right, so just be aware of what you have here. And when you get the pump, you just got to match it up and make sure it's the same. Okay, so that's that. Also, with this lockup solenoid and with the overdrive cancel solenoid, we took the O-ring off that belongs there. All right. And, you know, this solenoid, as you know, it screws in. But there's also another O-ring that sits down in here and will sit against the solenoid like this to seal the pressure. Just be careful not to put it here on the land, so it goes in the case right there and like that. So it's this one and the other one in the case as well, the lockup and the overdrive cancel. Okay, so that I wanted to go over that with you. Now remember we had a screen in here, wanted to get the screen out. I put some air in there. I actually blew through this hole, put it in my hand, gave it a shot of air, and the filter came out. So here is the filter that goes in here. And on some of these, I was doing some research on my tech services website. Some of these accumulator pistons, I think, again, it's maybe an earlier model, may have a gap in the ring. All right, these, I looked at it after I read it, and these do not have a gap in the ring. But if you do have one of these that has a gap in the ring, make sure you put the same thing back, because the gap is the lube for the overdrive section. And if you put a full ring on it, like this one, you'll block the lube to the overdrive section, and then that'll have a meltdown. So, I think that's about it of the things that I wanted to go over. Again, doing the you know, tearing it down and just kind of going through everything slowly, because it's a, you know, a simple 4-speed, but it's been a long time since I did one of these, so I just want to make sure everything gets put back the way it's supposed to go. And I think that's about it. So again, we're dealing with a 1993 Mazda B2600 with a 2.6, 171,000 miles, running away in 3rd gear and slipping in reverse. And of course, our nothing left on the clutch pack. I didn't have a chance to research steels or pressure plates or anything like that, but I mean, I got to find something. You know, again, you know, kind of looks like a C4 drum, but I have some C4 stuff. I want to see if that's actually going to work, but I'm not sure until I try it. And I also had mentioned about this shaft also, and again, they want these holes facing towards the converter, which it would be when we put this back. There's 3 different shafts of these, depending on, you know, maybe year that you have or transmission that you have, so just be aware of that as well. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you next one.